All right, and your underlying energy is the Queen of Cups. Okay, and underneath that is the Wheel of Fortune. So I think this is another opportunity. An opportunity has arisen to where you have an opportunity to fall in love again, be in a relationship. To feel the love. But the thing is, I don't think you guys want to commit because you have the Queen of Pentacles as the heart of the reading, but what's crossing that is the Five of Swords. There's a little bit of doubt and a little bit of hesitancy when it comes to the whole "let's see how this goes" kind of thing. You guys are not so adamant about jumping into a relationship, actually, because I think you guys are really looking at your own independence, your own stability, your own, your own goals and commitments to yourself, which is not a bad thing. But you never compromise those. Well, it looks like you feel like you're going to compromise those if you commit yourself to a relationship. Now, in the past, you had the Two of Wands, so this is definitely talking about going, having to pick between two different directions. You can't move forward anywhere more, but you definitely have to pick a direction which you in and which you want to go, right? So like, let's say, for instance, this is about you being single or maybe going into a relationship, and the way that you have been leading the relationship on, it can't be led on that way anymore. So, that could be that whole situation right there. For some of you guys as well, it could just indicate that you guys had to kind of pick your path, pick a different direction in your life, because honestly, right, you couldn't go forward anymore. But this wasn't like it wasn't like oh my gosh, I gotta pick a decision. I want to make sure this is the right decision. This was a decision based based on what you wanted to do and how you wanted to do those things. And now, where that led to is the Knight of Cups, which I kind of feel like this is two things. This is you focusing on what your heart's desire is, which is why you have the Five of Swords here in the first place. Right, it's focusing on what you want, focusing on what you're trying to obtain, what your desires are. I think you kind of live in moment to moment too, because they kind of change a lot to what you want. But I get a feeling also that there's somebody from the past that's come back to offer you some sort of love, or maybe somebody that that you have that you have some sort of history with, because you're the Three of Swords here. Now, I don't know if you have any beef or any heartache with this individual. I don't know if you put them in the past, but the situation is saying that this is triggering some sort of old memory or some sort of old pain here, which makes sense why the Hermit came out before and it's coming up in your outcome, because there is going to be some need to heal these energies. Now, at the same time, this person may be just absolute brand new, someone that's really romantic, very sweet, communicates from the heart, and they're genuine. They honestly mean what they say. But the thing is that they bring up some sort of pain regarding your last relationship, which is possibly why you don't feel like you're wanting to commit right now. Like you're, focusing on yourself, looking out for you. What do you want, right? And I feel like that is a turmoil, because at the same time, although you may want to, stick with being single, taking care of yourself, handling your business, not worrying about nobody else, you kind of do feel something for this other person, because look who's looking at the Nine of Cups with all googly eyes and everything. The Queen of Cups. Yeah. If this is you guys here, the Queen of Cups, or this is someone else, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or could be someone else that's not a water sign. Somebody's looking at the other person. And I feel like this is like there's a connection here, sure, and it may be like there may be definite doubts because this person, is definitely different in regards to age. There may be an age difference, which possibly does add on to the reluctance of getting into this relationship. But the love that you feel doesn't change no matter what age you are. It doesn't matter, and I feel like that's why the Hermit comes up in here too, because I think there's maybe some old issues about about your confidence, about and who you are as a person, because of the age difference, because there's a dynamic that's different between you and in them. Maybe there's maturity differences, something different between you and this individual here that's definitely significant. Okay. But I feel in the future here with the Five of Wands coming up, this is handling, facing that conflict that you got going on within yourself, that tug of war, and really kind of hashing out some details, hashing out some conclusions for yourself. Now, the interesting thing is that your goal and ambition is Empress, so you do want to create something, create abundance, create some sort of happiness. But I think you also, in order to get there, it will require you to have patience, right? Require you to work diligently, require you to remain focused on it, and take your time with it and nurture it and love on it, right? Because this is your card here, Taurus, okay? And this is very domestic as well. And I feel like in order for you to, to create abundance, you have to first, of course, dedicate your time to making, to growing that abundance, to, whether this is, money or happiness or a relationship. And I feel like it's saying I feel like it's saying taking care of yourself is definitely a priority because of this Three of Swords. Work on nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself. Not necessarily, jumping into a relationship so quickly, but I think it also is also talking about embracing that feminine energy. This means for you too, gentlemen, and we all have masculine and feminine energy. It doesn't matter the sex. And I feel like this is talking about allowing ourselves to just be, to just, to want, to dream, to come up with ideas, and to be in love, even to be vulnerable. Because the Empress, she's very independent, she's very strong, but she's also very vulnerable. She's pregnant, right? That does show a bit of vulnerability. And I think that vulnerability will allow you to connect with this energy here, so you can pull those swords out and be free of that sort of pain. But whatever this situation is, I feel like this is deep-rooted commitment issues because of some pain that you've experienced in the past that you thought you got over, but it's coming up and it's hurting like a bitch, because this person here is like a sweetheart, and they really want to get to know you, and they want to communicate with you, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know, So your outcome is showing the Hierophant, excuse me, not the Hierophant, the Hermit, right? Something that we saw earlier, and I really see this as you guys going in and healing yourselves, reestablishing courage and reestablishing hope. But I feel like this is definitely talking about finding the answers that you need to be able to make the next steps. Because right now, this is what being that this is the 9th card before the Wheel of Fortune, another opportunity, right? You have to kind of review everything that you've learned, everything that you've gone through. It's very similar to judgment, but the thing is this is like a self kind of judgment thing, but you didn't intend for a new opportunity to come through. You're just kind of going through everything that you've experienced, in healing a lot of those areas where you may not be feeling like you have the strength or the power or the control to handle those things. And you have everything that you've learned from all those experiences to apply to this here. So I really feel like this is, yes, a big reflective time, and not how much you've been very independent already and very, committed to your own goals, but also how you may want, how you being vulnerable and looking at your emotions and being open emotionally will help not only heal you, but perhaps, bring in wonderful things, help you manifest the things that you want, help you create the things that you want. In order for you to do that, you can't do that. It's not necessarily, you could do it as the Queen of Pentacles, but it really helps to be in, to know how you feel, to address the pains. The more you ignore them, the farther the stuff will be pushed away. But I think also the reason why this person is coming up in here, if this is a person at all, if this isn't a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or someone else, right? I feel like this person, or, I feel like this energy is you looking at, focusing on what you want, wanting it, but not realizing that there's blockages to your feelings, to what you feel, that's keeping you from those things. So that's why the Empress is hardcore talking about taking care of yourself this weekend, or the next couple weeks period. Look at those old issues, heal those old issues, heal those old pains that you may have felt, heal those past disappointments, heal the shame, heal the guilt, let all that stuff free, so that you can be free, so you can have exactly what you want, so you can truly be happy with who you are, so that way more comes to you, right? So let's go ahead and see what we got with the Messenger Oracle cards. See what y'all got. Okay, wow. That's okay. And you guys have nurtured the soul, nourished the soul. Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. Healing, taking care of yourself, loving on yourself. Okay, we're going to read that affirmation in just a moment, but that is basically the butt of the, not the butt of the joke, but the set, the meaning of that card there is like you have a beautiful soul, beautiful energy. You guys, Taurus, that's the time of heart. You guys are the card of harvesting here, and you're also the card of manifesting, right? In the very beginning of the year, what is our intentions, and then putting in the work to make it so, committing to that very thing. You guys hold down so much, so it's important that you do, take care of yourself from time to time. And not what I mean is like, of course, you guys do take care of yourself. You do lavish yourself with some kids. Of course, you're Venusian, right? Venus energy. You guys got that in you. That's your ruler. Right? Of course you pamper yourself, but pamper yourself in the sense of healing these old issues or healing these pains here from the past. Because this person here is bringing all this up, which is why you're kind of like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I can commit to this person. I don't know if I can really go into this relationship. And that's okay, because that means that you are looking at the cup that's not really full, and that needs to be full by your own love, by, loving, by your own love towards yourself. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go ahead and read your affirmation here. I was going to pull your wisdom of the oracle, but I was like, let me just read this. Okay, and it says, drink in life. Use your senses to explore your world, to taste, to touch, to see, to smell, to hear, and experience all that is within you and around you. Your journey through life is meant to be a sensory experience. That's very Venusian, and as a matter of fact, it's very Empress-like energy here. Enjoy life. You have abundance around you. Indulge in those abundances. Interesting. Your life is meant to be a rainbow of color, full of motion and sound. It's not meant to be a bland, tasteless experience, a bland, tasteless existence of simply black and white. Be sensual. Ooh. Empress. Explore yourself in your world every day and nourish your soul with every moment. So take a chance, or take, to experience life. Never, do experience life without doubts, without fears, without hesitancy. Interesting, guys. So let's see what we got here for your wisdom of the oracle. Unfinished symphony. Look, that's the Three of Swords right there. Okay, and that does talk about a situation that hasn't been completed yet. You always find yourself in a situation where you're dealing with some very similar stuff, if not the very same thing, it's similar. And it's because there's some unfinished business, right? There's some unfinished, lessons that have yet to be learned, right? And until you understand what those lessons are and do something differently, they will constantly show up, unfortunately. That's just kind of how they work. Like, think about it. You may have a very unhealthy relationship between you and your parents when you move out. And then you move out, right? And then, with a roommate, and you have a very unhealthy relationship with your roommate. But ironically, they have the same sort of dynamic between you and that roommate with your parent, like your parents, same issues, same problems. It's weird. Now you get in with your boo, right? You move in with your boo, you're starting to have a lot of problems moving in with this person as well. May not be the same exact problems, but but they remind you of that time when you had those problems with your mom or with your dad. You had those problems with your roommate. So everything will continue to follow you until you understand what lessons that you need to learn at that moment. And it's never to punish you. It's never to say that, you need to overcome some sort of karma. This is to help you gain some sort of higher up power, right? To level up in some sort of way. And I always see this as level up. Every time we're hit with a challenge here with the Four of Wands, like the Four of Wands is indicating here, we do ascend to something bigger and better. This is like, hey, we got a new test for you, so that way you can, ascend, so you can get closer to your higher self, so you can, so you can be wiser, as you go down the line. Never as a punishment, never as a thing to kind of, to make you feel guilty for something. But this is a situation where you have to do something differently, right? And be aware of the patterns and the consistencies of the relationships and your situations and your interactions with people, and period, right? What are you doing that's causing the situation to continuously come up, so that way you can be aware of what this lesson may be. So you could do something differently about it so you can move on. If that makes sense.